Welcome to part 2 of our new series, where we talk about each month's Topless Guns Steam replies. If you haven't watched the part 1, make sure you do so you don't miss any of the information. Also, consider subscribing to the channel and liking the video if you like my content. Now, moving to 3rd of February, where we got loads of his replies, where someone asked why Topless disappeared, and he answered with, "I haven't disappeared, there just haven't been good questions lately to reply to." Another question. Just a small question because we have so much info on the game and pretty much everything. What is your reason for not releasing it? Sorry if that sounds rude. I just wanted to ask. He answered with, "It is not finished enough. It lacks audio work quite a bit, and I do not want to release a mute game. To get the required audio work in, I need to finalize any loose ends with current features to be absolutely sure what audio work is required. It is also part of the idea of wanting the game to be more finished in release as what MSC originally was. It was also rushed out. I did not actually want to release it at that state then. Nice information. I actually think that my winter car is around the corner. What do you think? Comment and subscribe." Going to next question. Will the method for importing custom radio tracks be the same for MWC? I have a 200-song playlist full of period-accurate English and Finnish tracks in the radio folder in my summer car, and I want to start making one for the sequel, but I just want to be sure importing them will be the same process, so I won't have to redo them once the game comes out. It will be exactly the same, so go for it. Then it was a question about four-wheel drive. Will there be any AWD 4WD cars that the player can drive? And he answered, "I've had my cars stuck in the game so many times that I really need to consider some cheap little 4x4. And a really long last question that was answered on 3rd of February was accessibility for keyboard users. There is no cheated driving assists for keyboard use right now, but it is possible to add things like TC and ABS if community feels like those are necessary. I also do think it is a little bit against the idea in-game featuring old cars. However, I do quite a bit of testing with keyboard, and personally, I am fine with the adjustable brake and throttle smoothing. Another thing is that in rally and ice racing, you are able to use competition winter tires, which in fact give you more grip than any regular road legal tire. And the way the car is built also affects the handling, so those with keyboard might want to figure out different ways of tuning the car. Moving to one day after this one, so 4th of February, support for other steering wheels in my winter car. And the answer was, it seems like there won't be support for modern era DD wheels. Unity Engine can't read the higher bit rates of those wheels, and that's why they do not work. Only way is to use external controller emulation tool, like you probably have already. I agree. It is a very unfortunate situation. Second project car? No, maybe just a random loaner car. If you don't mind me asking, do you have an idea for the 4x4? Nope. It should be able to pull other cars from snow at least. So something more heavy with good torque or engine. Now moving to 5th of February, someone asked 5 different questions. Will there be any new side gigs? Yes. Are there any sort of delivery jobs? Yes. Will some of the old jobs be returning? Yes. Is there any new information you can provide us on the main job? Don't go there. Is there any new ways of making illegal funds like the last game, i.e. stealing the poker machine? In a way, everything revolves around illegal funding of your life depending on your approach, but not as direct crime like stealing a poker machine, but more like dealing with bureaucracy. I probably leave crime-related things out this time, like the robbery of poker machine. Let's say the player is more matured than that. Then on 9th of February, someone recommended a cool feature. Can you show your boss middle finger, and does it will do anything in MWC? And he responded with, those could be made as added infractions, like how the bus works right now. You can do it a few times, but after some time you are fired. And moving to 10th of February, we have one question about vacuum lines. So we know that certain parts have vacuum lines that are permanently fixed to said parts. Can the vacuum lines eventually develop leaks and start failing? And how many vacuum lines are there exactly? Are there plans to make them separate pieces? There is one for brake booster. I need to decide later if that is a part that can fail. Next one is on 12th of February about insurance, where someone asked, as far as we know, Topless loves making our virtual finish lives even harder, so I want to suggest adding insurance. I'm not sure how exactly it works in Finland, but in my country, having car insurance is required by law. So it would be funny if, after passing the inspection, the player had to pay some amount of money, for example, once per 12 weeks. If he ignores it, he will be fined by police. And he answered, I have thought of this feature a few times. I know it is quite essential as in real life, but it's just way too complex and problematic to put into a game. At minimum, it would be just constant, mandatory payment that would cause huge fines if missing it got caught by police. Talking about fines, what do you think of adding that police can take your car because of being very drunk and not paying bills, then you have to pay to get the car back, or you can steal it? If you steal it, you go to prison, but you can be lucky and don't get sent to prison. It is not really a thing in Finland. You would need to commit serious constant crimes with the car until it was confiscated. And even then you would not be able to get it back anymore. Then on 12th of February, someone said, but didn't you say that there will be an option for an auto-trans? Because cars of that age usually have a vacuum kickdown. I think hooked to the intake, I could be wrong though. This type has mechanical, cable-operated kickdown, which is good, as the racing manifolds don't even have vacuum plugs, so you would not be able to use automatic kickdown with higher performance levels. Then again, why would you even use automatic with a tuned engine in this particular application? The failed brake booster vacuum cable is not that big of an issue, as in such case, the brake operates similarly to regular non-boosted brake. Using an automatic transmission with a tuned engine? That sounds like a challenge I'm going to try when MWC comes out. Winning the rally with an automatic sounds achievement-worthy. It is a terrible thought. Then we have another couple of questions on the same date, where someone asked how many hours has he played it so far. Hey Topless Gun, how many hours would you estimate you have in your current save file, and how much progress in the game does that get? I'm curious about the timeline of this game and how long it takes to make progress. Thanks. And he said, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 hours. I have assembled steering wheel and a seat and some body panels. If I were to focus just on the car building aspect and minimize time doing jobs, the car would be a lot more finished, would require totally different strategy. On the 14th of February, he answered a few more questions. It was about MWC being easier to develop than MSC. I mean, considering that he did all the driving systems in MSC, unless he is planning to change it, and since we can assume the map is staying the same, I think it could be possible that Topless will have a better time making MWC since he has those points to start with. This is just my speculation. Anyone wants to prove their points, you can. It has been more difficult because the new features are more advanced than most of the things done for MSC. But having the map and map assets from MSC was a big help, although a lot had to be changed as well because of winter. Most of the cars are also different, but making cars is not difficult at all. Those are probably the least difficult operations in making these games. The main job, some details related to the temperature systems, car parts ordering system and related databases, sports betting, some other rather essential things I haven't revealed, all sorts of things going on for sure. On 15th of February, when the game releases, will it still expand with new jobs, more purchasable car parts, and other things to do? Or are you planning on having everything in the game from the moment it drops, with the only future updates being patch, notes/bug fixes? There are some features I would like to at least try to add after the release. Those are something that are not necessary for the game, but would be cool to have. One other thing which can be expanded almost limitlessly are chorus aftermarket parts. That is definitely something I want to do after early access release. Moving to 18th of February, he answered a lot of Steam replies. So let's get into it. The first one was about license plates and police. Well, in the real world, the funny thing is that the fine for not having plates is pretty small, if car is otherwise registered and insured, but the possible advantage you get by driving without plates is substantial, especially in the era of automatic speed control. I must say that it is easy to exploit in the real world, and if the game is realistic, it would be easy to exploit in the game as well. Usually in games, easy exploits make things less interesting. Then again, the only car which you can drive without plates is the chorus. With any other car, the speed camera fine will get you. I've yet to decide if you can remove plates from the chorus once they are installed. It is possible to do either way. The next one asked about being sponsored in Rally in my winter car. Hi TG, I have an idea about the Rally. If you get a determined quantity of points, you can have, for example, Tamo Store as sponsor. So in your car, it will be Tamo's logo, and you can get some money by having sponsors. As you get better in the Rally, you will get more offers of sponsors like Fleetaren Repair Shop, Europeiska, etc. And he said, it would be great, but I would need to figure out how to actually do it. The game would slap the sponsor stickers on top of your nice custom paint. I love the idea, but I think that when people recommend new ideas, it just makes the waiting a few days longer. Then someone recommended something about my winter car realism. I suggest adding to both games, when the thirst scale is red, the sound of able swallowing of saliva. When the hunger scale is red, the sound of the stomach growling from hunger. And when the need scale is red, various moans from the main character. I think the idea is small, but interesting. Having gotten COVID 500 times since 2020, I think this is something I do not want to simulate in this game. I would like to play the game without this crap. The next question is revealing when to estimate the game, but first you need to subscribe and like the video, and also tell me what was your favorite part of the video. So did you do it? Okay, let's get to this info. Will my winter car release before GTA 6? Since GTA 6 is going to release in the fall of 2025, will my winter car release before GTA 6 or after it? Not sure when GTA 6 comes out, as I haven't really followed that project. But I made a promise in a stream that if MWC does not come out before 1.1 2026, I will release it as a free update for MSC. So those who want to save a few extra bucks should try to prevent me from releasing it this year. Oh, an update? How exactly will that work? It will be added just a subfolder to MSC, and there is a separate .exe to launch the game from. It would be a shame to just release a game you've worked on for roughly 5 years just to be released free. You deserve every dollar you make out of MWC. Sure thing, but that's why I thought that if such a thing happens, it is such a failure that I would not want to take compensation for it. So now we know when we can expect my winter car. It will 100% drop this year? That's not confirmed. But now let's move to the next question. Roads being cleared if there's no snowfall. I know that the snow is static and won't be moved around, but I thought of the idea on days when there's no snowfall. When you go to sleep, the highway is plowed so there's less snow, giving you more traction. When it snows and you go to sleep, the roads will be recovered in snow. And he said, it is a good suggestion. I could try to implement something like that. Changing grip properties depending on weather conditions would be a cool thing. And then he got a reply. Pretty sure at certain temperatures, 15F or a 9C, salt is unable to melt ice and snow quick enough. Yeah, salt becomes ineffective around those temperatures, and because the game world experiences mostly colder temps than that, I just left out the salty bits because of the complexity. Then again, salt-melted frozen roads tend to be more slippery, and that's what the roads are. But now we go to 21st of February, someone asked, could a tire repair kit be added to MWC? So for MWC, I'd like the idea of a tire repair kit that could be bought. So in the event of a flat, you could use it and a tire pump temporarily until the tires can be replaced at Fleetares. It is more fun to keep a spare tire with you and change it like in the old days. Will the tire have a special holder or will it just stay in the trunk like in MSC? Yeah, the spare can be bolted in place, but the spare needs to have compatible wheel and tire size. Then, on 24th of February, we have a question about the firewood job. Will the firewood job have a shorter cooldown because it is winter? The calculations are now based on the weather, cold, and square area of the house, so it is hard to say if the cooldown is comparable. It varies a lot. Then, on the same date, it will be almost 3 months. You said MWC could be released as soon as MSC comes out of early access. But nobody is forced to wait. There are plenty of other games to enjoy in the meantime. It's not really okay that people are that annoying. It does take a lot of time to develop the game. I know it's been 4 years since his leak, but still, people don't have to annoy him that much. I doubt he will release it sooner if everyone is telling him to do so. On 27th of February, difference of rivets. We know everybody will get different rivets. But what is the difference between older and newer rivet models? Does it change car building or just different shell and body parts, fenders, doors, etc.? Or is it just a number change of the factory release date of rivet? Styling and trim options are different for different year rivets. Later model years are quite different from earlier models. I haven't decided all the details at this point, but there is quite some variety. And on 28th of February, someone asked about a game console. Wouldn't it be cool to have a game console in MWC that would reduce stress or something? It could be like an older PlayStation 1, and it would be named like Game Station or something in the game. Well, there are plans for just that, but it is something that would get included during early access, but I definitely would like to have a gaming console included. Like an old Atari? 8 or 16-bit console to keep things simple enough. If you got this far, thank you so much for watching it, subscribe, and see you soon.